Well, hello. I'm glad to be here. How about yourself there, Bobby?
Doing great. How about yourself, Ed?
I can't complain because nobody cares.
No, I'll listen.
Nobody ever listens, man. I don't care what you say. We're kind of talking about rents rising today. We talked a little bit about it on, I think, Tuesday. And then, we kind of want to go over a few different things that we saw. And let me go here. I keep seeing something ejecting over here. So let me get rid of this. You keep talking.
Gotcha. So I can tell you, coming from the property management business,
Right.
And I can just say this, kind of anecdotally, but property specific, we all kind of copy each other. We do regular market surveys and stuff. A 1-bedroom, 5 years ago was renting for anywhere from $800 to $850.
Right.
As of last year, it was all the way up to $1,350, and that's within 5 years, right?
So basically, rents right now are about 30% up year over year.
Year over year, yeah. But if you're going back to then, we're talking like almost, closer to 70% if we're talking from 5 years ago to now. So yeah, rents are just skyrocketing.
I have a little sheet if you mind me sharing it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the average rent right now for a 1-bedroom apartment in Modesto. And we're not saying where this is in Modesto. This could be anywhere in Modesto, right? This could be, where do you think that is?
More than likely that's going to be here on the north, like the north or the east side of town. Anything closer to the freeway, it's going to be $500 more.
So, wow. So, really?
Yeah.
So that'd be $2,097 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. I saw one, it's an updated unit, and it's kind of over by the mall. They have it listed at 26. We'll see if it actually rents at that. That would be bonkers. But there's lots of Bay Area commuters paying those rents, and that's what keeps pumping it up,
This is what I was surprised in Modesto, that 71% of the households are owner occupied.
Yeah, which just tells you why it's such a tight rental market, right?
Right. And people need a place to live. And so this is what we were kind of talking about. This shows February. So if you go back to March of 2021, we were figuring that's about 13, probably 25. So that's where the biggest increase. That's a couple $100 in the last year that rents have went up. And then the other thing I'm hearing right now, the fact that your people are bidding up rental prices, meaning that to get into a place, they said, no, I'll give you $100 more a month so I can get the place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at big cities, where there's historically been a rental market shortage, and that's pretty commonplace. Here in the Valley, we do have a lot of homes. We're not a dense urban area, but still it's competitive, just like any other market,
Right. I mean, it's ridiculous. I remember when my daughters were looking for a place to rent, so
yeah,
it's expensive. I thought the $2,200 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in Lathrop was bad. Now you're telling me if it's just by the freeway, we're almost there anyway.
Yeah. Well, like I have a house listed for rent. It's a 3.2, probably would appraise about $480 and rent it for $2,600, and nobody has had any objections to the price.
Right. And you could actually buy that house technically for between $2,700 to $3,100, depending on the type of loan you're getting. VA definitely lower than that. So, one thing we're saying is, in this market, when there's no control over rents, right? I mean, there is max increases over time, supposedly, that the California put in, right? How's that work?
Yeah. So you can only go, to play it safe as a landlord, only go up 5% annually. You can do it up to 7%, but if someone calls you on it, you're going to have to show them the math. So you can do it 5%, and you're going to do it every year. And there's also the other factor that a lot of these properties might be older. And so they can use the excuse of, hey, we're going to update this unit, so therefore here's your 60-day notice. I don't care if you've been here for 20 years, we're going to remodel,
Right. Well, I know a lot of people getting 60-day notices that are calling me to now buy because, they've been in this house for 10 years. They've been there for 5 years. That's a normal story. I was in this house and they said they would never sell it. Well, never is a long time, and things happen. And with the current way the market is, people are wanting to sell the house and take their money and run for a lot of places because they think we're going to go down, which we're not. We've had that discussion in other videos.
Yeah. Well, and there was just to give you an example of landlords, at the end of the day, it's an investment for them, right? There was a couple that was in this house for 17 years, and the gentleman was elderly, and I mean, we're talking like hospice would probably be showing up in the next few weeks, and they gave him notice to move and put the house on the market. So even if you have a good rapport, with your landlord, at the end of the day, it all has to do with money for them. And
right.
so
And also, things happen with people's lives. They're, when they were like, no problem. And then it's like, I have to sell. I don't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, and what's going to happen is they're going to squeeze you out eventually of being able to even buy, right? Because you're just going to say, well, okay, rent's gone up another $75 this month, but we can make it, right? But 5% on top of 1550, and then the next year, 15, 85, and then it keeps going.
I know you're not doing right math.
No.
Every $1,000 is $50 on 5%.
Yeah, I never claimed to be a math guy, but what I'm saying is, it's good. It's going to go up 5% on top of what it just went up last year, right?
Right.
And before you know it, you're not going to have any kind of discretionary income to save for a house.
No, and then house prices are going to continue to rise.
Yeah,
and then so you need to make that decision today that you want to own. The only way to secure that payment for the rest of your life while you're in that house is to buy it.
Yeah,
that's the only way to get it secure. And then the one thing positive is you can always get it to go lower if you refinance it, because everybody refinances over the life of the loan. Most people are not on their loans for more than 7 years or max 10, and then they refinance if not sooner. One thing that's nice about VA is the fact that you can do a IRRRL, which is no income, no nothing, and lower your payment.
Yeah.
And so it's so easy. And that is the best thing, because usually what happens is when we go into recession, rates go down and people want to refinance. Well, sometimes in a recession, you've lost, maybe somebody, don't have their income, all their income. They've lost their job or whatever. Well, with VA, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
because you don't even put income on there.
No, I hear what you're saying. And obviously,
I'm pushing for vets to get out there and buy houses is what I'm getting at. Besides everybody else, I'm really pushing for vets because this is the perfect time.
Yeah.
For the last 3 years, they've been shot out of this market or whatever, stopped from getting a house in this market.
Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much we educate folks. There's still leery. They're listening to old news that was probably incorrect back in the day, from 10, 15 years ago.
You're talking about 2008? What are you talking about?
Just about VA loans, just how people think, it's not as qualified of a buyer because they don't have the money to put down. Or
most veterans have the money.
That's what I'm saying. We're always just trying to educate people and let them know, like, no, this is a great loan.
So you're talking real estate agents and sellers.
Sellers, yeah.
Yeah. So real estate agents and sellers out there, the VA loan is the most protected loan out there. What I mean by that is the foreclosure rate on VA is the lowest of any loan out there. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I don't doubt it.
No, it is. It's the lowest foreclosure rate on any loan. It's also, just because they don't have to put money down doesn't mean they don't have the money. Right.
Well, and I can see the reason why it'd be the lowest foreclosure rate, right? Because say you committed to serve for 3, 4, 5 years or for 20, right? That's a big commitment, and that shows integrity, right? So I think you're not going to see veterans say, yeah, whatever, I don't care about this house, just walk away.
No, because it also eventually can affect what they can qualify for the future.
Yeah,
right. And it affects a lot of stuff. But what the current VA loan, the only thing you need is a clear pest. And what I mean by a clear pest is that there's no active pests in the house.
Yeah, and that's so big.
There's a short form. There's a short form that they just fill out saying there's no active pests. That's unless the appraiser calls out some ridiculous dry rot, and that's what it would have to be. They'd almost fall through the floor in order for them to call it out. Yeah, it's not any different than it's better than FHA that can call for peeling. And the other thing, VA used to call for peeling paint. So I tell people, there's peeling paint, just peel it and then primer it. And the reason is if that house is like 78 or older, if you see peeling paint, they're going to call for a lead test. Yeah. And that's everybody will do that. Conventional FHA. If they see peeling paint on an older home, they're going to make you get a lead test. Yeah. So just take care of that ahead of time.
But yeah. So, like we were talking about in the last show, I'm really trying to get the word out to veterans and just, say, hey, you know what? Interest rates are a little high, but it makes our offers look really good right now.
Stop that right now.
What's that?
Interest rates are the lowest still they've been over the 50-year period. Do I need to get my chart out to show that we are in the lowest rates we've had in the last 50 years? Yes, they're not at pandemic low era where most people weren't working.
Yeah, but I'm also talking to the common person out there that just sees the news articles saying, oh, rates have gone up, from 3 to 6%. So
in 2018 and 2019, we were in these rates. Nobody cared. In 2008, we were higher than this. Nobody cared. We only care because we saw lower rates than we did. And most people couldn't act on them because a lot of people they weren't working during that period of time.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that right now when people are coming out. I need to buy a house. Okay. What was your income? Well, I didn't work for the last 2 years. I was on unemployment. Well, did you? All right. So you got to be at your job for 6 months, right? Technically there's, that I'm just doing, well, I can't think of the word right now, generalizing, but it's just, if you haven't been working for the last 2 years, you need to show that you're working now for most times 6 months in order to offset that. And you had to be working prior to that for a full 2 years. There's just things like that. So the people who took off the time, who now are saying, hey, you're getting a 60-day notice, are the ones who are going to be hurting and going right back into renting.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I don't think we can disagree with the fact that people are looking at it and they say, hey man, rates were 3%, or whatever. I know we can't quote exact rates, right? But now we're like in the 6s, right?
Govies are lower than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying it depends on your FICO score and what program. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, you're looking at, conventional loans, they could be in the high 5s, and then a lot of the FHAs are in the high 4s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds stop listening to everybody out there.
Yeah. Call us, right?
Yeah, stop listening to if Dave Ramsey's telling you that's the best time to buy in the next 5 years is right now, because you don't have to overbid on a house. You don't have to do this or do that. This is the time to buy. You just have to be okay with making that payment for at least a year or a little bit more until we can refinance you. But you can't go in there going, I'm going to refinance this and survive. You can't do that. But we have to look at all the parameters for you and make sure that you can afford it and understand that this is the best time.
Yeah. Well, and, I think people will be surprised. I know we always, harp on budgets, but
stop eating out.
Yeah.
Stop buying those coffee drinks for $6 or $7.
I'll tell you what, sometimes I take the family out to dinner, and
I wouldn't take your family out to dinner. No offense. There's a lot of kids.
Yeah. When no joke, we went to Snow White the other day, $85, man.
Was that a movie?
No, the drive-in downtown, or no, A&W.
Okay.
Yeah.
A&W for that much?
$85.
Dude, I would have went to a restaurant for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just the way things gone up, right? So
I know when we had all 4 of ours and we go to dinner, not all 5, but 4, and we were like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because once kids stop buying kids meals, then they get into adult meals. It's even worse.
When they're not eating chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, right?
Yeah. I don't like that restaurant. You get the same thing no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets or mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's not real craft. Anyway, we'll move on. Enough. It's just relook at what you're spending your stuff on. How close are you to work? Start riding your bike. Start doing this. I mean, I am.
Yeah.
And it's not because I can't afford it. It's just ridiculous. The price for diesel, the price for this. Why not just also get more exercise? I know people selling their vehicle because they can get so much for it now, and they're going to ride their bike or have one vehicle with their, and share, because then they'll wait till the market goes back down and then rebuy a vehicle for cheaper. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too, right? People who are saying like, oh, well, I'm renting right now. Maybe I can't afford my down payment. Do you have 2 vehicles? Is there one you could possibly sell? I mean, we're trying to get, creative with any kind of cash right now.
Well, I know I have somebody that we knew, and they were like, can't do that. I can't afford. Well, it's like you got a motorhome, a bike, a car, the one person. Do you really use all that? I saw somebody like, hey, we finally got there. It only took us $2,100 in gas or diesel to get here. It's like, that's a lot of money to be traveling with your RV.
Yeah.
What we're saying is relook at your budget, see what you can move around, pay off your debt, move some stuff around, and just buy that house, because you'll be so much happier when you do, because now it's your house. Nobody can tell you what to do with it except for the city and and the police maybe.
Yeah. Don't try and build anything without permission, right?
Right. I don't even. Yeah. Don't get a pergola from the Costco and put it up, and then, because next thing you know, you have the city calling you saying, did you have a permit for that? It's not bolted to anything.
It'll blow away in the wind. It'll be fine.
Take your damn drone and get out of here.
So I just talked to him yesterday, so I'm in the same spot.
It's like, give me a break. Really?
Yeah.
Stop looking in my backyard.
There we go. That's our next show, man. Permits and City Modesto.
Stay out of my backyard. Well, actually, the one thing about permits, from what I'm hearing, if you want to put a pool in, it's so much faster in Modesto. But prices for pools, man, I cannot believe how much those are up compared to what we paid for our last one.
Hey, so another good thing, right? If you're looking to buy your first home and you want a pool, buy one that's already there.
Yes, and actually I've seen appraisals now, and I know we're going long. They're actually starting to used to give 7,500 to 10 grand for a pool. Now they're starting to give about 25,000. I've seen on some of the appraisals.
That's good. They're still a little behind the curve, right? Based on what it costs to put one in. But
they're not going to give you, and that's the same thing as those shows you see about when I remodel my house and my house is worth so much more. Should we love it or list it?
Yeah.
First of all, that show is a lie. They all stay in their home. They never list it.
Yeah.
But the problem you run into is what you put into the house, unless you do all the labor yourself, you don't get it back out, right? If you hire a contractor and it costs you 70,000 to put in this amazing kitchen, you're probably not going to get that 70,000 when you in value for that house.
I agree.
So just do it. Do a normal kitchen, a normal bathroom, and that's the other thing we should do a show on. Should we, do any changes to homes before you sell them?
Yeah.
In this market, is it better to put in a new kitchen, new bathroom, or just leave it for the next person? You can tell me that for the next show.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll be back on Tuesday because Monday is a holiday.
Yeah.
I think it's 4th of July. So everybody be careful out there. Please don't be shooting off any fireworks because you're going to burn down something and then they're going to come after you for that.
Yeah. Good PSA.
Yeah. Because if you're in Modesto, they'll come and they'll cite the homeowner.
Yeah.
So if you got somebody over, make sure they don't have them because otherwise you're paying for them.
Yeah.
And I think it's $1,000 or something. So be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I know someone who actually had to pay that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
We should have him on.
No, that's all right. I'm sure they want to relive that. All right. Everybody make it a great day. Bobby, thanks for being here.